Patty Christensen, hand CRPS lady, doing some videos on my maternal ancestors. So this is my mother's father's side of the family. Okay. And it's the life of Evie Lawson Steger, who later becomes Evie Lawson Steger Miles. That's the last name of my maternal grandfather. Okay, are we ready? I was born May 18th, 1868. I think it was a Monday morning at my grandfather's Benjamin Taggart. They lived in a 3-room house located at Taggart, Buckingham County, Virginia. My grandfather was a blacksmith. He only had 2 children, my mother and my brother Robert. They were good, honest people. They were MacTaggarts when they first came to this country. They were the first ones to come over from Scotland into Ireland and then come into this country. My father, William Lawson Steger, and my mother came to my grandfather's to spend the day. I was born there. My father's home at the time was beautiful, 8 large rooms, large halls, a kitchen in the yard, large colonial porches with the large columns. We did not live there for very long, for I don't remember it, but I've seen it since. It had a large aspen tree close to the house. Since then, the family had a school teacher boarding with them and a 10-year-old girl. I slept with her one night in the house. When she went to bed there was a large poisonous snake coiled up on her pillow, just ready to strike the child. She was so frightened, she just grabbed it below the head. It coiled around her arm, but the room had a fireplace. On it was a large flat iron, so she grabbed it and smashed its head. The snake crawled out on a limb of the aspen tree. Oh, the snake had crawled out on a limb of the aspen tree and come in the window. The picture was in the Police Gazette. We went to Richmond, Virginia to live when I was about 6. By this time, I had 3 more sisters. The baby, Willie Walker Steger, died there on the 4th of July, 1875, and was buried there in Maury Cemetery. My father worked in a flour mill, the Dunlap and Mociano Mills in Richmond. My mother used to dress make, and when I was 10 years old, I could sew real good. We then moved back to the country. At the time, we were in Alex, Flavanna County, Virginia, and we lived at Alex on the Kanawha Canal, and I used to turn the boats through the locks when I was 11 years old. And we used to make fish nets and traps, and we would catch lots of them, and I could sell them to the boatmen. Then in 1879, the Chesapeake and Ohio Company built a railroad there. One exciting experience of my life was while we had the 2 of them. One day, I had just turned a boat through, and the boatman who opened the gate on the other side had left a 2x4 on the track, and I had not seen it there. She's 11. The trains were running at 5 miles an hour. A train came running with the coach and box cars and flat cars ahead of the engine, and when the coach hit the 2x4, it started jumping from one side of the track to the other. Then the coach ran across the locks and ran into our yard. The 3 others ran in the opposite direction. The general manager was on the train too, but they didn't seem to blame me for it. In 1881, we got a piece of land in Flavanna and built a small house. Most of us were sick with chills and fever. But we had lots of sickness. And I was the oldest, so naturally I had the hardest time. I got very little schooling as I was needed at home to help mother. She first had 4 girls, then 3 boys, then a girl, then a boy, then another girl. We had moved into this house before it was finished. Just half of the floor was laid upstairs. And the next morning, one of the boys walked through downstairs, but as luck would have it, he was not hurt. We didn't have much room, but we were happy. I just worshiped my father. I always helped him as the boys were small and we did have lots of hard work to do. My dad and myself sawed all the wood we burned with a crosscut saw. Sometimes the wind would blow my skirt and it would catch in the saw. We raised lots of bees and I always helped him with them. Only once did those Holy Land bees sting me, but that was terrible. Dad would take the comb out of the hives and I would take the comb in the house to extract the honey. We raised queen bees and sold them, and if our bees happened to swarm, I could run to the hill and catch the queen, and then all the bees would go back to the hive. We never let them swarm if we catch the hives. We liked to make our own hives. My school days were not many. I only went through the 4th grade, or at least the 4th reader. I only had reading, writing, spelling, and arithmetic, but had some happy days while there. I had to get up in the mornings, get breakfast, milk the cow, and walk 2 miles to the school. I used to play ball, and I never could hit it, but I had fun anyway. We had one large boy that always stood at the foot of the class. He used to pronounce each syllable as we went and give us the definition of the word. The word was acephalous, A-C-E-P-A-L-O-U-S. The definition was without a head. And so he spelled A-C-E-P, and then he said a louse without a head. So I started liking boys at the age of 15. I was always jolly and happy and could sing right good at the parties we had. Mother and Dad always went with us. We were raised very strict, and we were not allowed to go out with a young man. They would come home and see us anytime, and we could dance anytime. Before we built our new home, Mother and Dad would take down her bed, and we sure enjoyed a good old country breakdown. We had islands in the James River, and I could take the canoe anywhere. We had the best watermelons and cantaloupes. Dad would always cut a big one, and we would each have a half. We would go down about sunup, and we would get what we wanted for home use. The first Stegers came to America in 1742 and settled in Goochland County, Virginia. Sir Francis George Steger had 4 sons and 1 daughter. 2 sons were lieutenants in the Revolutionary Army. My great-grandfather Steger fought in the War of 1812. My grandfather Steger fought in the Confederate Army. My father ran away when he was 16 and was in the last 2 years of the Civil War. My son, Frank Elmo Miles, fought in World War I and was in the battlefield fighting when armistice was signed. So I come of a fighting race. She said that, but I agree. My first real beau was when I was 17, and I thought I was in love, but my mother and dad always broke up my friendships. This man, John Almejandro, was a fine man until death, but his father lost his mind, got a horse collar, put white rocks on it, and sat behind the door and would blow like a goose. So they heard that, and it was all off. He was an engineer on a railroad. Then I had Mr. Willie Lawson, real good looking, but he drank too much. Then Mr. Willie Johnson, but he was too old. His hands felt cold and clammy like a frog foot. Then Charlie Hanson. I went with him 6 years altogether. We always had a good time. He had so much foolishness, but could keep you laughing so much. One night we went into the Salvation Army meeting, and one of the men came up to us and asked him how was his soul. He said to them it was pretty thin. His foot was almost on the ground. I then had Mr. Thomas Kidd, a schoolmate. Then I met the man I married, George Beauregard Miles. And out of all of my picking, I would have been better off if I married the first one, but such is life.